Uber driver picks up woman, notices destination is her own apartment. She was confused as she looked at the destination on her map once again. Her eyebrows were furrowed as they focused on her phone. She couldn't understand what she was looking at. She questioned the girl's motives for being in town. She looked at the girl sitting in her backseat, she had a smile on her face. She explained that she was there to visit her boyfriend. But why on earth did she want to go to that particular apartment? Alicia McIntyre was happy in her relationship with her boyfriend, Liam. They had dated ever since Alicia was in her sophomore year, and by now, she was fresh out of college. They had experienced so many things together. She saw herself growing old with Liam. But she had no idea that something would test those visions. They lived in two separate apartments across Jersey City, but things were tough for them after college. A few months after Alicia became a graduate, her parents cut her upkeep allowance. She worked as an Uber driver to survive. But who could have guessed that this job would make Alicia see Liam in a different light? On that night, Alicia was sitting behind the steering wheel of her car. She was parked right outside of the airport because that was where business usually boomed. As soon as she heard her phone ping, she snatched it from her lap. The notification informed her that a passenger wanted a ride into the city. This was an excellent start to the night, and Alicia quickly accepted this request. She turned her car around and made her way to the pickup spot. The woman she picked up was gorgeous and compassed. Alicia politely helped the woman load her luggage into the car as they exchanged a few pleasantries. Once they were all settled, Alicia kicked her car into drive. Alicia broke the ice as she asked the woman, "What brings you to our little city?" She liked making conversation with her passengers, it made things less awkward. The woman smiled as she responded with, "Someone special." Alicia smiled, which made her do something she usually never did with strangers in her car. She handed the woman, whose name was Tracy, her Accord. Tracy accepted it happily and put on her favorite romantic playlist. The songs were reminding Alicia of Liam. But Tracy snapped Alicia out of her thoughts as she said, "I haven't seen my man in a long time. I miss him." Alicia understood how Tracy was feeling as she responded with, "Mine's out of town. I miss him too." Although Alicia enjoyed relating to her on this level, something felt off about the entire thing. Alicia recognized the route she was taking Tracy on. It was leading to Liam's neighborhood. When she looked out of the window, she smiled at the familiar landmark surrounding them. She wondered if she somehow took the wrong turn because of how much she was thinking of Liam. She had only glanced at the destination on her phone when she picked Tracy up, but when she rechecked it, her jaw dropped. She grabbed her phone from the phone holder and refreshed the page. This couldn't be right. She was nervous that Tracy would get upset when she found out that she had taken her down the wrong route. She didn't want her 5-star streak to break. She pretended to be calm as she restarted her phone. She looked at Tracy in the rearview mirror, and what she saw made her frown. She was bobbing along to the music. This meant that she either wasn't aware of what was happening, or she knew that they were on the right path. Alicia glanced at her phone once it restarted and confirmed that she was on the right path. She sighed in relief, but hoped that they weren't lost. But when she checked the destination one last time, she nearly slammed her foot down on the brakes. They were heading towards the same set of apartments where Liam lived. What were the odds? Alicia smiled as she pictured that Liam was home and that they could spend some time together. She decided to call Liam as soon as she had dropped Tracy off. She missed him so much. The gates to the apartments opened as they drove by the flats. Then Tracy said something that caught Alicia's attention. "He's home," Tracy exclaimed. "That's his car right there." Alicia looked closely. "What?" she asked. "His car, right there," Tracy repeated. Alicia could see the car. The only problem was that it couldn't have been Tracy's boyfriend's car because it belonged to Liam. But that's not what shocked her the most. After they parted ways in the evening, Liam drove off to New York to see his sick mother. He was to spend his night in the hospital. But as Alicia grappled with the reality of things, Liam strolled out of the door. He was smiling at Tracy, waving as he hurried over. Then he looked closely and saw Alicia. Liam took a step back, shaking his head in disbelief. Alicia was trembling behind the wheel, her foot half an inch above the gas pedal. She hurled her door open and rushed to him, needing an explanation for what was happening. She caught Liam running away and yanked him to a stop. "Why, Liam," she cried. "Because you work too hard," Liam told Alicia. But his voice went low when he said, "And you forget stuff, Alicia." "You forget a lot," Tracy said behind them, and Alicia snarled. Alicia's teeth ground. Her fists balled, and she whirled around to face Tracy. What she found made her step back with a gasp. "My cousin says you forget even your birthday," Tracy said, a candlelit cake in her arms. She jutted her chin at Tyler and added, "He wanted to surprise you, even called me. And I'm the last person he calls." Alicia's friend sprang out of nowhere, screaming surprise as they showered her with confetti. Her heart thundered within her chest, and her breath hitched. Liam came and hugged her. "Happy birthday, my love," he whispered.